Michael Saylor was giving his views about Bitcoin and gold and how these two will perform compared to each other. Michael prefers Bitcoin over gold. He believes that governments have to make Bitcoin, smart money, the new standard currency. He argues that governments will be the last one to make this decision, but every rational actor will move before the government. You are going to see an avalanche of smart money in the investment community, and you are going to see an avalanche of smart CEOs, and you are going to see high net worth individuals as well. You can have your gold this year. You got an 18% return on your gold. But if you bought Bitcoin, you got a 290% return on your Bitcoin, as per Michael. That's been going on. It didn't happen this year. It's been going on every year for a decade. Bitcoin is running 200% on average annually every year for a decade. So how many years you have in your life? Because if you see something that's doing 200% a year and the average thing is doing 10% a year and the best thing did 20% a year. You wait 5 years, you gave up 5 out of 30. You wait 10 years, you gave up one third of your life. You are going to wait 15 years and give up half of your working life. Do you get to do it for 30 years before someone actually says maybe it works? Gold is an antiquated store value. It peaked in the 19th century. It's not working. You can see it's not working, as per Michael. And the reason it doesn't work is that you can corrupt it, you can confiscate it, you can hypothecate it and lie about it and try moving $100 million of gold or 10 million of gold through an airport when you decide you need to change jurisdictions or when a country decides to tax it. How are you going to move it? It would take you a year and have hundreds of thousands of dollars. So gold is the 5,000-year-old idea of a bearer instrument of value or apex money. If everybody in the world with money agreed that you are going to use gold as the gold standard, it might sort of work. But it's too slow for the 20th to 21st century, probably too slow for this present 21st century. So people moved away from it and we have replaced it with something better. Moves at the speed of light that you can program smart money, pure monetary energy. You can cling to your gold, but it's like clinging to your Kodak stock because you like photos instead of buying Apple. It's like clinging to Rand McNally maps instead of Google Maps. The digital version is going to be 100 times better. You can cling to your horses when the automobile comes along. It's not a speculative asset. It's a digital monetary network that is a million times better than the physical monetary networks and the paper monetary now it's replacing. So if you ignore it, you are kind of like ignoring running water and electricity and railroads and airplanes. It's technology, it's the future. On his views about gold confiscation, Michael said that there will not be a confiscation like 1933, at least not in the US. Some countries like China, they are a little bit threatened by capital flows. Zimbabwe, when their economy collapsed, they didn't want people to be able to buy Bitcoin. If in a country where the economy completely collapses, they will probably be concerned about capital controls. There will be various regulations when you have a currency collapse. In Argentina, there are quasi-capital controls there about how much money you could move out of the country. So those happen from time to time and we'll probably continue to see those. But in general, more likely gold is just going to be passed over. It's $10 trillion right now and it's seen its height. And it's probably going to peak and deteriorate by $1 trillion a year or something like that for the next decade. It's seen its best years. Bitcoin is going to grow past $10 trillion and then 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 trillion. Because it is the digital monetary network and half of all the money on earth wants to be in a monetary network. We are looking for a store of value for half of our monetary energy and currencies are not working. Gold is not working. Index funds are not working. People, as soon as they start to realize Bitcoin works, they all are going to jump on it. The thing is growing 200% a year. You can't grow much faster than 200% a year. It's going pretty fast. At some point, the Bitcoin will be wrapped in regulation that's at a parity with the regulations that control cash, bonds, stocks, real estate, AML, KYC, REGS. According to Michael, that is not a being a problem. It's probably a welcome thing because institutions and corporations are going to funnel 10 times and 100 times as much money into it as it normalizes in that way to parity with stocks and bonds. So that will probably happen. You have different factions and there's dozens of them. If you are a crypto anarchist, then you are not really all that excited about government in general. You don't like any laws. You are not a big fan of taxes. People say inflation is theft. Australian economists think inflation is theft, but many people say taxation is theft. A perfect librarian. So if you are an extreme librarian or anarchist, maybe you don't like government. You don't like taxation at all. They are really fixated upon privacy. They want to trade through decentralized exchanges anonymously. That's an extreme on the other end. Mass Mutual, a big public trading company, they are not buying it for that. They simply want an inflation hedge. They might even not look at it as inflation hedge on that extreme. They might just say it's an uncorrelated asset which is doing really very well. Then you have got people that don't really care for inflation. They want to preserve their family's wealth. Wealth preservation or wealth creation or treasury preservation for them. They need to buy it on a regulated exchange and keep it with a regulated custodian. A public company can't. It's like we are not going to buy it on a decentralized exchange and store it in a private wallet that we take home at night. That's not happening. So those companies are looking at it as a treasury reserve asset and they have a different view. In general, 99% of the money in the world, maybe 99.9% of the money in the world, probably wants to be in a regulated environment at parity with other regulated assets. They are comfortable with that. So the future of Bitcoin is going to be determined by those actors, by the institutions, by the corporations, by the high net worth individuals within a given standard AML KYC framework, Michael says. So guys, I would like to know your prediction about Bitcoin. What do you think? Is it a really good asset or it's like a Ponzi scheme? Also, if you found this video really knowledgeable, then please convert that like button into blue. Subscribe to our channel for more such beautiful videos. I'll see you in my next video. Till then, have a great day.